The Jewish sages taught that everything is an allusion to God. Whether trees, water, grass, stones, birds or bees, everything visible alludes to the invisible God. Thomas à Kempis said something similar. He said that we should endeavour to withdraw thy heart from the love of visible things and to turn thyself to the invisible. One of the reasons being that satisfaction or wholeness cannot be found in the things of this world. He also said, call often to mind that proverb, the eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. That's from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 8. And this is very true. Ask anyone who has returned from a cruise, say, in the Norwegian fields, and they will probably say that they want to go again next year. No one returns satisfied with seeing and filled with hearing. And the reason is that it's an end in itself. It leaves behind no lasting deposit. In that sense, it's a mirage, a deception. It's ephemeral, a thing of the day. And God has put eternity in our hearts. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11. An eternal being can never be satisfied with a temporary solution. He remains hungry within. His eye is never satisfied. His ear is never filled. There's a story about God bestowing all blessings on mankind, but withholding one, rest. Let mankind have all the blessings, but with repining restlessness, so that if goodness lead him not, yet weariness may toss him to my breast. Only the eternal can satisfy the eternal. Augustine said, our hearts are restless until they find their rest in thee. Thomas à Kempis teaches us that in order to avoid discontent, we must train ourselves to see the invisible, to not be overwhelmed with the visible, however beautiful it may be. And it's not a case of becoming unappreciative of beauty, but of seeing beyond the beauty, seeing behind the beauty, what the beauty alludes to, and it's always God. And this shouldn't be difficult, because God has put eternity in our hearts. This is like an inbuilt receiver which is tuned in to heavenly transmissions, to the voice of God himself. It's natural for a Christian to be able to look at the world and see it as an allusion to God. Now, this tuning in occurs not only when we view the natural world, but also in the midst of our daily lives. How can a Christian have peace of mind, tranquility, when he's being, say, insulted by somebody? When we are young, we probably respond in like manner. Then we learn to count to 10. This is an improvement, but God wants more. And one day, it's as though a curtain has been drawn aside, and we see some of the things that are going on behind. It's the same words, the same insults, but we know now why the other person is saying them. We seem to hear his thoughts, and we actually begin to understand why he's upset. We may not agree with it, but we understand it. If we train ourselves to look behind the facade of the natural world, we shall begin to get insight into the human heart and mind. It was said of Jesus, he trusted himself to no one because he knew what was in men's hearts. Call to mind often the proverb, said Thomas à Kempis, the eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. Moving on from the flesh to the spirit. As Paul said, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. Romans chapter 8, verse 5. We fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18. Let's ask God to open our eyes even more this week to the unseen things, the things that are to be fully revealed at the return of Jesus.